Hello. This is Dr. Mia Luth, and I'm live. Obviously, today is start date's 10/23, 2022, and it's 10:33 a.m. Eastern Seaboard. And good morning to everyone. Um, don't forget, you can always interrupt me as long as you're 21 or over. And the reason for that is just simply some of it's just kind of more mature, some of it boring adult stuff sometimes. Um, so I've been doing non-live camera stuff, um, and there are some doctors that I can't bring camera equipment or any recording stuff. So um, some of that stuff just has to be skipped. But um, someone sold me a really cheap used digital camera that I leave on during certain times of the day so I can describe certain symptoms I have and also certain other things about people whose expectations are not appropriate of many, many things. Okay, many. So, yeah, I did want to mention that the ministry charity is just simply called the Creasesinger Fund, okay? Because I just live where I live, and some people know who Creasesinger is online. So, um, but on Givelify though, it is sort of portion out. So if you put any money in the Buddy Fund right now, that goes to animal assistance, okay? And if you put any in the general fund, anybody who donates anything, if you do itemized taxes, can, right, just let me know what the monetary value is so that I can get you proper uh, receipt on letterhead for your tax people, or if you do your own taxes. Um, that's in the US. Internationally, I don't know how that works, but in the US, that is the case. So, uh, like I had a hiatus from some doctors because it's just too stressful sometimes, and sometimes just I can't get transportation where I need transportation. So, um, and I don't typically drive anymore because of my illness. So that does kind of limit me very much. Um, People who, you know, I will just mention again that one of the reasons that I started on Etsy was because I was working on some recovery models for myself and maybe for some others for post traumatic stress. And so civilians can have post traumatic stress, people other than just military. It happens a lot, unfortunately, but it doesn't always get addressed. And then people don't really know, like, are you being like ridiculous when asking for help? Or you would, you know what I'm saying? And some people, it takes a little while, but regardless, I'm also going to be doing some training for uh, first responders, like medics, putting for um, understanding how to process the emotion, and people who have to deal with things that are ugly and stinky and yucky every day. It's a bad scene for some of them, and sometimes it's hard to get away from. And so, coping mechanisms are helpful. Um, but mindfulness is not exactly something that's new, everyone. A lot of these things aren't really like new age. They just go by different names sometimes, and a lot of people on Earth actually do these things. It's a human kind of thing. And so catching a hold of some early signs of, stress beyond capability for some is a good thing to know. So that's scheduled for next year, which I put in my materials that I sent out to some local people. And um, there won't be anything new added because I'm still working on the list from uh, when I started the ministry. So it's basically not religious. Okay, don't worry about that kind of stuff. Okay, people are people, and some people sometimes run into little emergencies here and there, and they just need like just a little bit of help. Um, there's another church around me that does sometimes help people with um, like little things, like a bill, just like you're just behind or whatever. So I volunteered to assist. You understand? And I didn't have to do any of it. I don't have to be doing any of this. So, what I do need to mention is that without getting too big into the Etsy name, I do sell on Etsy and I like Etsy. It's an easy way. Like they will make it easy for you if you just want to basic simple stuff. And there are they mention policies, and I put my own policies, but they're right in line with Etsy policies. Okay. When I'm not going to get into arguments and I'm not going to be attacked by people who I don't need to grow my business. That's not the purpose of it. Okay. Like, and I'm not going to rush through trying to make, these little boxes. All right. Because I do this basically on my own time. And a lot of it takes me extra work because every time that I get any kind of, right, I'm not going to have people putting reviews for me or other Etsy sellers who've been at it for a while who do bulk or mystery things. Okay. So, so there's every single person except for one got exactly what is described. Okay. The fact that you don't like it does not matter when you are reviewing my mystery bags. Okay. It says right in the description, you may not like any of it. Okay. Right. So, for people who need to understand, when I say adult, first of all, unisex. I say unisex. Why? I know men who wear earrings and jewelry like this. Get it? I know kids that might wear this. I know adults that might wear this. I size everything according to my adult wrist. Okay. And if it's a little too small, sometimes I still put it adult because I have thicker wrists than a lot of adults. So you see what I'm saying? This is not for kids' toys. Okay. If you have money to buy this for kids' toys, fine. But regular, plain, everyday adults wear a lot of these things that you may not. The styles are highly different across international everything. Okay. Some people only wear vintage. Okay. Some people would love these. See, I would wear these. These are probably going to be the ones that I end up keeping for myself. I don't keep most stuff for myself. Okay. Um, and they're cute and they're light, and but some people would look at these and think they're just gaudy and stupid. You understand? My mystery badges are for people who just like to try different styles or want to dress up. A lot of people aren't going to be wearing their freaking gold and silver all over the place either. You understand? And a lot of people can't afford it. And people went, there's like manpower, human power went into making these things. Okay? Have respect for that. Have respect for the fact that people had something to do with making items that I get. Some of them may not be handmade by someone, but also if the tag is still on it, you know where it came from. I keep the tags on it, and I keep the original prices on it. Now, I guarantee you, even if you didn't get one with the price tag, almost everybody I send a bag to gets something. You understand? That's likely worth in retail more than what you pay for 10 items. Plus, I will give a couple extra items. Plus, I give a couple extra goodies. Plus, I say thank you. Plus, I write, and plus, I ask. You know, no. It's not about growing business. All right? The reason why some of you are doing things completely different from the reason why I am. I don't have any family to fall back on. Okay? I've been living with cancer for a very long time. And people have treated me like shit. But I don't care. Okay? I get to keep my girls. And so far, no sign of it. And that's the way I want to keep it. But I used to make a lot of money because I have PhD level genius brains. But I decided instead to help those who are less fortunate, to help those understand what upcycle means, because these things are all considered upcycle. Okay? Some people, businesses go out, some people have, estates from family and so on and so forth. And I have very little buying power, but I usually have enough every month to get some kind of newer grab bag inventory in. All right. And so it's not ever really going to be the same. Some people are like, if I need something quickly, there's like altered states of mind. You understand? They'll get it to me quickly. And sometimes I need it quickly. I can't always put my shop on vacation. But it says that you could get any number of things like hair pieces, tie tacks, uh, quirky handmade things. People put time and effort into this. And if you don't care about that, I do. And this doesn't belong in a trash can, does it? No, it doesn't. A lot of people who work, regular professional jobs, wears things like this. Okay? I don't know. Maybe a man would want to wear this. It's not up to me. Get it? But when I say adult, I mean it fits on an adult hand. Okay? And sometimes if it's just really, really plastic and really, really small, I put it aside for a kid's bag and I just keep. Okay? But some of it is boho beach, and there are plenty of adults who still wear that stuff. Not just teenagers, not just older people. Some of these things might be, collectible. A lot of them aren't, Mark, but if they are, I leave all that on there. And I try and leave everything the way that it came. If it's broken, like sometimes I'll get stuff and there's a little bit broken, and I'm not worried about it. I buy mystery boxes all the time and bags in order to, clean them for busy people who don't have time to go sorting through all this. You understand? It's a lot of work. A lot. So some people are going to need to understand what that means. and how to value things. And so if any people need to understand, I will, yes, send a very, very negative review to Etsy because, one, my description point blank says you may not like what you get, but there's a chance for sharing, there's a chance for giving to people you know might wear that stuff. That, you see what I'm trying to say? $6 is so inexpensive given the world economy. It's insane. People probably think I'm nuts. I'm not trying to undersell anybody. I'm trying to upcycle. Get it? And I can only really do this a little bit at a time. I'm not trying to grow business. I'm trying to grow a nonprofit charity. And I'm trying not to die on a daily basis. So unless some of you are in that circumstance, maybe, just maybe, read mystery bag descriptions really, really well. And if you have questions about it, contact the seller. And the seller will tell you that, well, this is just the way it is. I try and grab up, okay, I clean everything. Everything. Some of it may still be a little tarnished, but I usually get the initial tarnish off. That kind of work would cost you likely $50 an hour for some people. So you want to look a gift horse in the mouth? You want to push for what? Does anybody actually give a shit? 10%. I don't get that 10%. I take that out of the net profit. I'm doing something for the good of a lot of people, including me, and mentioning to people that when you donate or buy from places like Goodwill, you are employing people who would not otherwise have employment. A lot of people will upcycle. A lot of people, and if somebody donates something to me, right, I don't charge somebody for it, okay? But if I have to clean it and if I have to make something out of it, okay, mostly I'll be doing special orders for candles because I did find a really good mix for container candles, and they last a while, which is good. And that's something that I can do in the comfort of my own home and not be too worried about being in an office or any other kind of thing. I mean, go bully sick people somewhere else and change the way that you understand mystery bags and grab bags. Okay? There's stuff I've gotten. Yeah, and this is okay, well, I wouldn't wear 50% of it, but I would the other 50%. But I'm not buying it from me. Okay? Some need lots cleared. And so I will, if Coda Rescue Gifts from Etsy has extra jewelry, okay, I try to purchase from that because she is taking care of rescued animals. So one purchase helps her, okay, but it also helps me add to the variety of what people get in their mystery bags. And it also helps me physically. It's like physical therapy, occupational therapy, okay, Parkinsonism or something very similar. I gotta go to doctors and get approved and prodded and a lot. So I'm doing this for home physical therapy too. But I was trying to find the gigantic pile of twisted metal that sometimes comes with mystery boxes, people. I've been working on one for weeks and weeks and weeks when I get time. Okay. Um, People need to be far more understanding. People need to understand the post office in the United States is getting their ass kicked. There are still pockets of places where older U.S. American citizens are getting little to no proper care or attention. Okay? Do you understand? People want normalcy, but you're not really willing to participate. And I don't appreciate people who don't specifically read all of what it says in descriptions for mystery bags and boxes. You are not grading quality if it says high quality. Nothing in my description says high quality. Most of it is either 925 silver or it's silver plated, or you're not going to get anything other than costume jewelry. Or sometimes there's an antique. People have gotten antiques out of the situation. Sometimes there are tiny little stones and they're hard to replace and they take a long time. Don't come at me trying to think that you're giving me some kind of good advice to grow my business. I don't need my business growing. And I already have somewhat of a client base, and some of them will get in touch with me ahead of time and say, I want to order, but it's mostly meant for this age. Okay. Sometimes I have things that are put aside, right, for kids' bags. Sometimes I have things that are put aside that are, like owls. Sometimes I keep the owls aside. I like owls, but so I can, put up an owl collection for owl lovers. But a lot of times I have to fix little tiny things, like something this big. Okay. Lots of things are missing jump rings and they don't need to go in the trash and they're not all broken. And if you think it's crap, that doesn't mean that 60% of the rest of the human population who might possibly buy from Etsy thinks it's crap. I care that people physically took time to make these with their own two hands. Okay? The people who have stuff and you have a little tag on it, if you don't put a metal tag, right, that's meant for mostly higher end jewelry. Mine doesn't say anything about that. Okay? Right. And I don't know. Like, I know boys that have their ears pierced and freaking. I don't care if it's what you expected. You got exactly. I give exactly what it says for the mystery bag, and it is so much less expensive. I mean, I'm basically losing money. However, it's physical therapy for me. And I care that people actually, human hands, did this. And if I knew who made it, then there would be a tag on it. So anybody who makes stuff, like, you put a little tag on it, and anything I get that's got a tag, I leave the tag on. So you knew where it came from, so you understand? Some of you are looking for items specifically. Well, don't, just, right. And I really can't special order much when it comes to that because it just depends on what stock is available. You understand? I get my orders out within a day or two. And if I can't, I let the buyers know. I'm always in contact. right? Sometimes I make a boo-boo, and I appreciate when people are, like, of course, because I'm a human being. Now, the problem becomes if there are too many people not reading the description and not putting a truthful based on the description, not based on what you think. Okay, you have to do refuse based on the description. And if you say, okay, well, this, and this, okay, you can say, but, okay, you can't just give somebody a 1 like they did nothing and you got crap. It's wrong. It's not based on the facts that are in the description. And, there's someone who wanted to tell me some good advice. Like, I wasn't asking for your advice. Don't order from me again. But try not to do that to another Etsy seller either. Some of us take time to adjust our descriptions. Some of us take time to say, oh, okay, so it says that, but okay, so I'll change it so that it's like this. I don't need to grow a business. I volunteered all of my brains and all of my money and everything that I am. So screw all of you who've never done that before. This is the problem. When volunteers are treated like shit, volunteers stop happening. You all are the people who make me sad. Understand complete and total business situations, and you'll start to understand that advice was not exactly right pertinent to anything I'm doing. And if anybody thinks that I'm in competition with you, well, then you're wrong, and you need to recheck some things. So, should I continue to have issues? You understand? What's going to happen is I'm just not going to sell mystery bags. And then 4 other Etsy buyers will have less income because of it. And the likelihood that more crap is going to go in the trash doesn't need to go in the trash. I wear handmade stuff. I'm an adult. I wear things that are just basic and simple. I wear things that are plastic. Why? Because that's what it's made of. Okay? This is not a fashion show. I'm not trying to give people fashion show crap. I'm trying to say these things. And if you don't like them, it's meant for fun. It's meant for, oh, okay, so you got one that you like. Well, there, you paid $6 for it. What's the fucking problem? Share with other people. Re-gift it. Or just give it to Goodwill. Quit whining. I'm not dealing with the princesses who don't understand how certain things really work. Okay? I'm not going to volunteer. So I'll shut down the ministry and there will be none of that. If that's what you want. But then you, all people who made that possible, your names and your businesses and your personal information, you understand? Right. Get it? So all I ask is that if you want something specific, you got to contact me. But I don't, like, 1 week I could have like a bunch of boho okay, that's handmade, or I could have a bunch of stuff that came from, a store liquidation, or I could have a bunch of stuff that, somebody in the local neighborhood had, like, estate stuff that's costume jewelry and donated it to me. I check it physically with my own two hands, and I make sure that every single thing is attached properly. A lot of sellers don't do that. Not It's nothing against them. It's just right, the kind of time they have, what they're willing to do to sell. But I'm one who's willing to actually take the time, especially in the time of COVID, people with allergies, right, to literally wipe it all down and make sure that it fits an adult. So I don't care what some people are expecting. Read descriptions carefully. And if you really have issue, you understand, then you contact the seller. And if the seller, you do something and the seller says, well, then be willing to change your review. Okay. I mean, I've done it, but that's just simply because I didn't understand something. Okay. And so I talked to the person and then I updated my review because I was like, oh, okay, that's what that means. See, very simple. But that's how reviews should happen all the time. Okay? Based on the description. Some descriptions aren't as good as others. So sometimes it's like I'll try and contact to ask questions before I go. And I've been trying to be in contact with another seller who seemed to me to have like a bunch of stock still around. And so I was just like, well, it reduces my stress greatly to have, yes, items that are just ready to pack, while I'm trying to undo this ridiculous ball of, like, metal. And yes, it takes a while. You got to shake it out. Sometimes pieces will break off, but I know how to fix them and put them back on. Some of them are not. I have a medium-sized situation, so I know some adults that are bigger. So I do try to do 18 inches or more with adults when it comes to chains. But if I find one that's really cute, okay, I add extenders so that it fits a larger neck. Okay, what you're getting is worth so much more than what you paid, that your thoughts and opinions about what I'm supposed to be doing to grow a business that I don't need to grow are not appreciated. Okay. I sometimes make sure people have food when no one else makes sure they have food. I've spent thousands upon thousands of dollars of my own money rescuing pets and animals so that they don't have to go get killed. I grow my hair for cancer wigs. Get it? Don't do those things inappropriately, because the rest of the people who are appreciative of the fact that they can get an assortment of different, maybe they just want to switch up their jewelry, and maybe they want to try different looks, maybe somebody's whatever, you get what I'm saying? Real human people made all these things and had something to do with it. If there's a maker's mark, I leave it on there so you know. If there's a tag on it, I leave it on there so you know the price. See, this retail price, $9.99. I can't help it. If you want large amounts of stuff for very little money, The reason why volunteers just stop volunteering is because you're all ungrateful, unappreciative, and you refuse to, right, mention the good that comes from everything that I do having to do with Etsy. And I don't have to do any of it. So if I had to shut down the mystery bed, a lot of people are not going to have an option but to buy a bunch of stuff that they don't want and have to pick through and clean through, and it takes hours. So closing my shop is not going to do me any harm, but it's going to do other people some harm. So maybe you want to rethink. I'm not doing any kind of strategy, and I am not in competition with anyone on Etsy either. Okay? No, I'm not. Do you understand? So there are things that, a lot of people need to do when you do any kind of review. Okay? Right. You need to thoroughly reread the description and make sure, because I've done it too. Right? The description says it's this size, right? But I was looking at the picture thinking, okay, but that's my fault. Okay, that's my doing because I did not look at the size. You get it? So if I need to return, I pay for the return. Get it? I understand. Sometimes I'll skip like something, and the picture it looks like something, and I bought it, and and I didn't read reviews. A little smaller. But then I look, and it does have the, either in centimeters or inches, and so it's just like I missed that part. So it might be not what I expected, but I'm not going to ask for free returns if it's not available, and I'm not going to ask for a return on something that's a final sale, and I'm not going to go and write something about this item online without saying specifically, well, yes, it did come, and it is like it says, and the picture looks smaller, so read. I let other people know, be sure to read the size. Okay, so that's informative for reviews. Anybody that doesn't incentivize reviews, there's usually some kind of payment or product. I don't do that. You understand? Because I'm not going to tell people something is all great and wonderful if it, right, doesn't even last 2 weeks. Okay? So you have to be honest according to the description. There's something you can do online. I know with the larger retail chains like Walmart and Amazon, you can report, it's like report this listing, or yes, because sometimes like the prices will be different, or it'll have two different sizes or two different pictures, and you don't know which. Okay, try to contact buyers. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but then you have people from those, right, customer service that will help you. If something says all sales are final, I know as a regular human adult, I can't return it. It's very simple. Okay. If it's totally broken, you know what I'm, and it's like, well, yes. Okay. When you don't get something that's all in one piece, but there are a lot of people, you have to be more attentive to and pay more attention to everything that you purchase. Okay, especially if you're going to be a purchaser for a store or a business or for some other person, like personal shop. I'm very honest and genuine about things. I don't really have a bunch of, stuff, and I'm not looking for advice on how to grow my shop. I'm fine, thank you. Also, I was not one of those people. I liked having the reserved, and I know there's some people, but That way, you're not getting in debt. Okay. And you know that your fees are covered. And after a certain period of time, right, then it starts paying regularly. It's just you have that much in reserve. So I did not mind the reserve. Okay. It was peace of mind for me, because if I miscalculate, or if just I had it, didn't make enough sales to cover fees, you understand? Still, they were covered. So some people may not like that, and I understand. But I was not one of those people. And I understand fees going up. It has raised some of my stuff up a little bit, but I still kept the mystery bags as low as I can get them. You understand? Go into some boutique shop or other places like thrift shops, and I guarantee you're going to be paying at least $1 for each one of those items. Some of which I would personally wear, and I'm an adult. So people have all sorts of different styles. Okay. So like sometimes I'll have a little more vintage, but sometimes I'll have a little more new that came from, uh, a fire sale or something. You get what I'm saying? When individuals make everything too difficult for people who could be making millions of dollars a year or more, I mean, be more grateful and understand approximate current current value of items. Okay. uh, that will help you make better choices. Okay. And COVID has caused issues for probably every single seller and buyer along the way. Anyway, I do everything I can, right? Sometimes I have to go buy some things, and like I said, I usually change out the what do you call it, the earring, dangling earrings to, right, because I if there's any, so that they're non sterile, they're not for allergies, you understand? Because I have terrible, I can't wear earrings practically anymore. I can't. All they closed, my skin closed up over them. So I don't wear earrings that much anymore. I do have the two holes here. But skin allergies. So I try to, look through everything. If I know that because some of it will have mold and mildew, and yes, I actually got a box that was just totally like ruined in a flood, and that took me 4 months before I go through and clean and look at, before I could even start selling it. And so I try to be very fair. And even if it's mystery box and there's stuff, like if it says, I'll like, even if it says no broken pieces, and there's some that are in there, you know what I mean? Yeah, this shifts. I don't complain about it. It's normal everyday postage stuff. Yes, there's glue that's been, on some of that stuff since the 1960s. You see what I'm saying? Right. Stuff expands and contracts and sometimes. So I don't ever really bother. They still get a 5 from me if they were communicative and they came and you know what I'm saying? Like, even if some of it's a little bit broken. The reason why is sometimes it's like if I miss something when I checked it is the only reason that I want to know. Right, if I miss them when I checked it, it's more so that, like, because usually I will handle everything at least twice. So I don't care what anybody's expectations are. You will have to change them. Um, so I'm not doing certain pain management anymore because it's just too painful to, yes, nerve ablations hurt like hell. And I couldn't take it. So, uh, and it was only lasting me like 3, 4 months, not 6 like it was supposed to. So I do stretching exercises from when I'm sitting, and I do a lot of different, like, muscular kind of, and I will say likely CBD has been helpful. I'm not so sure about THC. I mean, I don't really want to smoke anything because it's bad for your lungs. See what I'm saying? Like, right. But certain research I did and the way certain neurochemicals work, the, you know, there's just a high chance that CBD at a certain interval, a certain amount, okay, at a certain interval throughout the day can help with circadian rhythm. Okay. So for sleep research and sleep researchers, it's just there's a high probability that it's not THC, it's CBD when taken regularly, the same amount, right, properly prescribed. You understand? Okay. Um, it's, and I can say, like, my appetite is, you know, some days I don't want to eat food at all. Okay, but I know I have to because I have to take meds. Um, but anyway, people who don't have family really just don't care. I mean, it's quite literally true. It's just like somebody's entire family is trying to gang up on me, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not in competition with anyone for anything. And if I make music, I give it away for free online. I don't sell my art. I give it away for free. Mostly because it's like I'm gonna sing anyway. But I won't be playing guitar anymore. So that kind of changes things for me. And so it's gonna take me a little while to get used to some things. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. Um and I am Narcan certified. I always have Narcan on me. Some of us know where we live, and the likelihood that I'm going to need to use Narcan is about 70%. 70% chance that me as an individual citizen with Narcan is going to end up around these parts having to actually use the Narcan. So that's the best I can do to be a decent citizen around here. And you can do it for free. And sometimes you save life right there. Okay? But there are some situations it's hard as hell sometimes. And I'm not ever going to tell anybody it's easy. Some things are easier than you might think, but some things are not. And it really isn't wise to be arguing with full grown adult people who do have, yes, a very good track record with other human beings and who generally just offered to help. But I'm rescinding my offer now. And you all do it without me. And I doubt success will come. But when I give individuals opportunities, you understand? Okay? You have to do things based on descriptions. Now, what you can do is help make descriptions better by contacting people and say, well, could you please include this information? You understand? Anybody whose husbands or sugar daddies or sugar mamas or anyone else who's paying your way through life and giving you startup money. Don't start publicly bashing the poor and sick. That's not a good idea. It will not end well if you keep doing that. Anyway, so the Sheen, I know, I've heard all kinds of stuff that I buy. Like, well, if I can afford to buy something that actually fits me, you understand, that I can wear I don't give a shit. There's lead in there. Well, I wasn't buying anything for children, now was I? Right? The only way I can do that is Klarna, but I have to balance out each month with Klarna. So, see what I'm saying? I know how to balance everything properly. My budget. And I have to deal with a lot of things, sad things, like funerals and people who have family members who are highly abusive. And it's hard to get out of a situation. I deal with difficult things that none of you got the gumption or the training or life experience to even understand. So everybody's gonna need to freaking take it easy on me. Okay? I simply offered to help because I am a master at some things, and I'm postdoctoral work all the time these days. You understand? So I'm not trying to necessarily grow Etsy business. It's a side thing so that I have something to do during the day because I have something that's like Parkinson's. And so frustrating, but if you don't use it, you lose it. And try to maintain your fine motor skills for as long as you can is important. To me, I don't care if somebody likes me or not. They probably don't even know me. But my interactions with real human beings through life has been very good. And I don't really care if the drunks are angry with me. You understand? Drunks get angry, even if they're happy drunks, Alice Cooper, and it's not Satan's world. So shut it. Not anymore. It's not. Well, there was a shift, and you all should have known that and not be surprised by certain things. You felt it coming, it came, and if you don't like it, I don't care. Okay? Get it? I have several college degrees. I have a lot of experience. There are things that I know about, but some don't because I've worked in these fields. Okay? And, there are tons of people who need to understand your wealth is going to continue to drop for a while. So be ready for that. Okay? I make unique individual things. And the boxes are for, some people might want to put their wedding rings in it. Some people, there's different boxes. Okay, they're coming. I have to put the boxes together. I gotta make sure that they're all completely so there's no glitter coming off anywhere. Don't want glitter everywhere. And I have to take pictures of it myself. I had to build the studio, okay, where I can have natural sunlight and then I have other sunlight if I can't use that. So I have to do all these things myself. I didn't want to do them myself. It's just that people think that, you know, they should be paid ridiculous amounts of money for doing almost nothing, and I disagree. So my ability to earn money is not an issue. but my health is. And so there are other people who are like that. You just can't go out and talk to your friends, and you can't jump in the car and just go for a drive whenever you want. You can't spend money you don't have. Okay? So, mainly I'm just trying to kind of get the word out slowly because I have to do all the advertising and the charity fundraising on my own right now. That's why I've been asking for volunteers. There are people who do have extra time, understand, and who aren't, you know, money stressed, okay, or who do have certain qualifications, but I have to, make those qualifications for two certain positions. Yes, masters or higher, uh, but that can be a combination of everything: life experience, uh, volunteerism, work, whatever. Okay. And because I don't make an income yet, and I need the emergency fund to be, full enough so that I can start taking applications for it. And there will be an application process that's already all figured out. I don't need kudos, but the hell if anybody, anywhere, is going to give me a hard time about anything ever again. And people like that, you understand, are too emotional sometimes to handle certain things, like a lot of teenagers. I remember it wasn't, so easy being a teenager. Kind of sucks sometimes, but sometimes it didn't. I mean, I have friends, right? But people go their different ways, and people think people are weird. And once you get out of high school, though, you know what I'm saying? Right. So there are a lot of people who are hurting, and some of you are just not giving them any slack at all. And you're not even trying to understand. But, telling little children that they're, like freaking demons from hell, and that everything they do is wrong, and everything they think is wrong, and yet it's not right either. So those of you who are adults and kind of understand, like, it's not alternative lifestyle. Some people are just blind and oblivious, and so you get around people enough, you start to realize that that's the case. So you can't really be angry. You just can't really make proper conversation because they're just not going to listen to you. But any adults to remember high school. Yeah, I have all kinds of different friends. Well, I know I wasn't like in any kind of cliques, but the ones I liked hanging out with the most were the ones with the Doc Martens and the hair. And see what I'm saying? Because we all had fun, and we all made each other laugh, and we all had problems that we knew we had problems. You understand? But yes, that's what I'm saying. So if you don't like the weirdos, then move somewhere where there aren't any. Okay? Too many push and shovey things happening. And when that starts happening, right? But see, I do have contacts in federal law enforcement. And I do read the policies And I do keep up to date on what some things are happening and changes that happen. You understand? And it is difficult for one person to do what I do, let alone two. So screw you. You get no energy from me. You get no space to rent in my brain. You just get cut off. Some of you need to understand that. So I'm not asking for anybody's like secrets or anything. I'm saying that there are some people who need to understand that you must actually give a crap. And when you type something online, okay, it can be checked by people who you don't know. All right. So, no thanks. I don't need to grow my business. I contacted a seller who very, very busy, and she's got a bunch of things that she needs to. She doesn't have time to pick through, which works. You understand? For me, because right, then I can and maybe sell individually, but I stopped doing that for a little while because I had to move. My former roommate passed away suddenly. So if people don't really want to understand correction or who don't really want to follow simple instructions, I can't really be spending too much time around you. And people who have never worked in the fields that I've worked or dealt with the wreckage that I've had to deal with, it's just plain meaningless what you're saying to me sometimes. If I know for sure that it is incorrect. Okay. Okay. Not all science is lies. You have to understand it though. And those who don't, I'm just going to tell you, well, there's some stuff I can tell you don't want. Okay. When you're looking on the ingredients list of certain things, um, and as for music, like I spent a lot of time and money, kind of like music therapy when I was younger. So instead of going to the therapist, I would go to live concerts, and it was working out really well. However, responsibilities are responsibilities, and whether you want them or not, they're there. And I have responsibilities. I have responsibilities to people to make sure that I am addressing what it is the ministry does and why it's there. I have to keep up with, renewal paperwork and other kinds of things like that. Okay. And, um, I can't do certain physical things like other people can. That doesn't bother me. Yeah, no. I don't need to go skydiving and I don't need to go bungee jumping because I've already done it. Right? So there's a lot of things that's just like, not that big a deal to me. Okay? Right. So I say things because I'm telling the truth. And these things can be checked. Um, but adults online do need to try to be as adults, please. But those of you who have never had to really go out into the workforce, I'm not giving you crap. I'm just saying, no, you don't know what it's like I do. I'm always underpaid. I volunteered to help Fuck it. You get nothing else. You get no more help from me. You don't get any more space in my head. You don't get shit. Okay? So you can push. And you can push. But you do need to understand, okay, what is correct and right when it comes to certain things, especially workplaces and other things. So currently, I do not have the time or inclination or resources to have paid employees. But there are a lot of people who could volunteer. Then, yes, you can. Yes, you can. To help someone somewhere. Okay? I don't have to be doing any of this, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Nobody gets access and I'll just be closed out. And that's that. They'll all just go by the wayside, useless to any of you, because I'm already used to loss. And you're not. So, like I said, I can make 1 hour spot for what is known in the state of Maryland as spiritual healing, okay? Online, either Google or Skype or because I'm currently trying to, make sure that my body's rested and that I'm not in like horrible pain. So once that gets all straightened out, then okay, I'll be able to do a little bit more. All right, but I've had a lot more experience with a wide variety of people than some others. So some of the things that people say and think are irrelevant to the actual reality of situations. So sensation and perception is a good course to take if you're in studies that way. It'll help you understand, right, how human physical systems perceive, and it's very different from person to person. Okay, but right now I cannot take anyone's insurance paid by if you can afford. So even if you have a lot of money, I'm not going to go overboard on my fees. I don't care, right? But for those who don't hardly have any and who don't want to go see a therapist because you think that the therapist isn't going to understand certain spiritual things, I understand that, okay? But I do have a psychology degree, all right? And so I can do one online, and that's the gist of it. But I won't go 45 minutes. I'll give you the full hour. And anyone who wants to come here, now that I'm not homeless anymore. Yeah, people get really sick and then get attacked and then get hurt and lied to, and they end up homeless. Not because they're trash. So I really don't have anything to do with certain people at all. It's okay, you can go away and think what you want. Someone else will hit you with it eventually. All right? I'm not trying to grow a business. I'm trying to grow a nonprofit organization. And I didn't use my name, such as Mia Luth, because see, I pass away. I understand? It's just going to keep the name God. Okay? It is a name. But the you understand the holy name is not known to you. So nobody needs to tell me about being humbled. I already humbled myself. You're all behind. I'm trying to bring up the rear for you. Well, then, fine. None of you shall even have a chance at getting your name in the book of life then. Just that simple. You don't have the kind of power and controls you think you do. Okay? So people, they don't. They need help from others, and the only reason that I am asking life to end a path for help is because, well, I happen to know that they had an issue, and it was unforeseen. So I could be impartial, but the time for me to be impartial is over now because now I have an overriding priority, and that comes first. So, I've done some hard work in my life, and I've gotten people sober in my life, and I've saved people's actual real lives in my life. And it's not because I'm some special kind of hero. It's because that's what you freaking do. Okay? But there's some people doing things it's just like, okay, well, I'm sure some of the people who don't get paid, who are volunteer rescuers and all that, really, if they happen to, get distracted by something, while you die because you all never listen to safety protocols and think that for some reason you versus God or you versus Mother Earth is going to turn out. I disagree. Because I know better and I've seen better. So, right, it is not, when I say it is not truthful to a description, it means it's not truthful to a description. The truth of the description is when I say you may not like it, then you need to understand that before you buy it. And you don't give someone, right, you understand? You have to go by what the description says, not what you expected in your mind without reading the description. Okay? That's how you help other, that's how you sellers and other people, because then they know, okay, well, maybe I need to change my description a little or something. Okay? I'm not ever going to be perfect for any of you, and I don't really give a shit about your fucking perfection. Okay? There are a lot of people who are grumpy and grouchy for various reasons. Some of them are in pain physically. Some of them are not getting anywhere near the medical attention they need at all, or the right kind of food, or lots of other things. Okay? But don't challenge me when the truth is right there. I mean, the person actually showed the picture of what they got and everything clean and wearable. And the right amount of what I said I would give. I can't help it if you don't understand. Then you ask before you buy. Most people who sell things would, be happy to, like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of like this and it's kind of like that, and this, and then you make an informed decision. Okay, prices are going up again for the postal service, so my prices will have to rise a little bit, but I do everything I can to keep them as low as possible, so that people who don't have a lot of money can still get neat handmade, or sometimes it's 925. So there's been some gold plated stuff. If you're looking for stuff to resell for value, then don't fucking come to me. And I'm not a money launderer, shitbags. People think stuff that and they listen to TV and they listen to people who don't know about rules and regulations and laws about stuff. And you think that this is the way it all works, and it's not. No, it isn't. Okay? So someone does have an urgent situation, and I'm aware of it. That's why I'm saying I want to try and get as much done here as I can. Oh, how are you? It's good to see you. My day's all right. I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm trying to figure out why people can't follow simple instructions online sometimes. Maybe it's because they can't speak English or wherever. It's hard to tell. But it's good to see you, and I'm glad you stopped in. Um, I'm actually going to be getting off soon, but uh, my day's going all right. How's your day? How are you doing? Drunk? I know, that's funny. Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to get things accomplished when simple instructions seem hard to people. And when they don't want to follow the simple instructions, it's cool, just fuck up. Yeah, gotcha. Um, so it's morning for you. Do you like coffee? You a coffee drinker? This is the only cup that I can actually use without a lid or something. Yeah. If I pick it, I've been practicing with my right hand because my left side's worse than my right. And so, yeah, a lot of times, like, right, Parkinson's or whatever it is, Parkinsonism, like, have to land, like, yeah, I'm dumping stuff on myself. So, always with lids most of the time. Oh, yeah, that's true. Right? Why bother making it when you can wait to go somewhere where somebody already made it? This is a good plan. I drink coffee on and off, but I keep it to a minimum. Anyway, um, I'm always looking for volunteers. Anybody sees us on some of these live ones to track symptoms. Yeah, I'm not murdering. Yeah, I get it. I can understand that sometimes it's sort of get your butt out of bed and make sure you're in your workspace before you start doing anything. Um, I'm always looking for volunteers. Some of the stuff will be edited. Some of it is educational because it has been checked thoroughly, a variety of different ways. Um, I do have a PhD. I do verify that I check these things with sugar and cream. I know. It's some people think that it's blasphemous. You're right. I don't mind when people do that. It's just I can't, like, I can't have a little sugar. But there are some people. This is kind of like it's like a viscous, like dessert instead of coffee. Like, it's like drinking cake. Like, some people do that. Um, I put creamer in mine, so um, I know someone used to call. I take my coffee blonde and bitter. Okay, um, which is a pretty good description. Um, so some of the things that have already been shot camera wise are done. And I'm probably going to need at least 5 months or so, 6, before I can. It's, um, yeah, I love these things actually. They're like, because I can't go outside that much. I mean, I have windows, but I like to have some nice view. They're actually wall decals. but I didn't take the back off, so it's like a poster, right? But you can frame them. Some people will do that, but they're like, I don't know. I bought two of them for under $30, so they were fairly inexpensive. So that I could like have something on my walls that wasn't just plain wall. And I love the outdoors, so just soothing. It's like fake window, but if you stare at it long enough, you kind of get the outside watery vibe. And they have tons of different ones, all kinds of different ones like that online. I got them on Amazon, but I've got quite a few in my house, and you can like it's a wall decal, so it sticks to your wall, but you can take it off. But I just use it as a poster. Yeah, when you don't have your window at all, you can at least have a fake one, you know. And it does kind of help my mood a little. Like, you know, if I like can't go hiking or stuff that I used to do to go see stuff like that, then I can wake up and I'm looking at it. So there's ones with zebras and cows and cowboys. There's all so many different kinds of scenes, but I like the nature ones. So I try to keep at least one room filled with color so that I don't get too like depressed having to be indoors most of the time. So um, yeah, places with no windows, like that's like a perfect thing. Then it doesn't cost that. Yeah, well, I lived in. I mean, I've lived in Baltimore City a couple times, and I know people who live like different places, a couple places that's like deep city, and they don't really. But there's usually somewhere near cities. Oh, and I feel like you gotta know somebody. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, like it's a yeah. I get you. No, you don't. You don't really have to. I've been hiking by myself numerous times. There's like trails and stuff, but even close to cities, sometimes there's like state parks or depending on where you live, some kind of something wildlife area. Just you can go out walking by yourself if you want. If you get out of the city, but even so close to some cities, there's usually some kind of something. St. Louis is in Missouri for sure. But I see. Well, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with St. Louis, so uh, but a lot of like communities and businesses sometimes will even have like little walking paths and hiking paths. Some people do it in cities, but I mean I don't know what about St. Louis. So I've never heard that kind of stuff. But you don't really need to know anybody. You're all right. You just need to have the internet and you can look around and see if there's like a walking trail or something. They're usually around for physical fitness for like some businesses do it too. Um, but I used to try every day to go out somewhere for a walk, like either in the morning or during work or after work. Um, and sometimes I'll do it by myself. They cross the river. Okay, do that's not too far away from me actually. But you might be able to look up online and see like what they're talking about. Um, like on mountain range, yeah, what you should start by getting in the habit of being active, hiking slow. Like regular hikes first, because I've been, well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't really want to do a mountain range myself because I'm too sick for that. But I've gone up a couple volcanoes here and there in my life with trips and things like that, and like stuff like that. Man, you gotta. That takes a lot of practice and know how. And yeah, get a Sherpa and some sponsors and have medics go with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, better you than me. It's like, no way. Yeah, I'd have to be carried the whole freaking way if it was like mountain ranges. Um, but it's, if you have a lot of endurance, some people do that stuff all the time. Costs money too. So, but you don't have to know anybody if you just want to go out on a little hike. There's always something somewhere that, and it could be even just an urban hike. Yeah, there's hiking paths on there that right, and that's what I went up. I went a couple hiking paths. One was on the study abroad situation a while ago, and then one was another one that I did with people I used to camp with regularly, and like yeah, it's all marked off, and it's there's like little places you can stop and so yeah, like the Appalachian Trail is one that some people will try to do in their lifetime because it's marked and it's a little safer than just wandering around on your own. Um, but those things I just can't do anymore myself. So I do little circuits. I have a little park down the street and it's got this like, yeah, I do little circuits because that's the best I can do. And I have to be close to home in case I have a medical situation. Um, because I don't really like having too much of a medical situation around people who don't really know, like, and then they want to try and take me to the hospital, and I get tired of it. Bucket list is yes, Yellowstone. I did that one because um, I graduated from college and my brother had passed away, and I needed like soul search. Yeah, exactly. But I needed soul search, and so I decided to go by myself to Yellowstone to soul search, that kind of thing, after my brother died. And I did a lot of that, but I do suggest that you try and do that a little off season. I went in June, which means that it's not on the piles of cars. So a lot of buffalo still and avalanche threats, but I went when there were fewer people, and I, just hiked around, and I saw all kinds of neat birds, and it was very quiet because it was off season, which made a huge difference to me anyway. And camera, oh, thank you for the like, and going around with my camera, I could take time, like it wasn't I didn't need to like speed camera or anything. I could just take time and set up shots and look and watch and just spend time. Just yeah, you can get like little rustic cabins, and there's lodges along the way and the lodges will usually help you find like things to do or give you tips or right. And sometimes there are people who are willing to go and show you around, but um, it is something that I do suggest. I did go, and when I got back to the airport at what is it, the Jackson Hole, Wyoming, it's the airport you go into. It is an actual hole. Um, I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to stay and be around Yellowstone and all that stuff. I, I was asking, there's a tiny little airport, right? So I was asking every counter, are you guys hiring? Are you anybody in here hiring? I actually did that. If there was one taker and I had a place to live, I probably would not have gotten back on the plane. But I had to take care of my responsibility. It's all the lads, yeah, but yeah, well, try to do one anyway. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Um, like, just I don't know, look around for state parks or national parks. Sometimes they have like I used to get yearly passes for the um federal parks, which yes, the Yellowstone is preserved area, but they do have like all kinds of, and then sometimes you can get hooked up. They You go through a travel agent, you can get hooked up with other people, but you'll be with strangers. But it depends. But that's one I suggest going to. Um, it's got so much different stuff, and you might get to see some wolves and bisons and different things that you don't normally see. I know, I know. Oh yeah, I know. Yes, that one is truth. I totally agree. Like I had to sort of change the way I was doing things at one point when it came to my work life when I was healthier. And I made sure that I could have weekends, or the weekends that were 3-day weekends. So the federal holidays, um, the I planned specifically to go to a certain campground in Maryland. There's a bunch of them, so that I could get out of city, get out of stress, get out of different, like looking at blank walls and all that kind of stuff. Um, and it's also relatively inexpensive, especially if you go with a couple friends or people, because you can split the cost. Is another reason that these are good. I've been out, not for a long time, but I've been to parts of Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, Germany, pre and post wall, um, Bahamas, Aruba, um, France, Paris. And that was all when I was younger. My parents like to travel, so you know, if your parents do it, you pretty much got to do it. And I appreciated all of it, which is, I may not have felt that way when I was younger sometimes, but I appreciated the fact that I could do that. And plus, yeah, Germany. My late dad was German immigrant, and he grew up in the war, and then he and his brother lost everything, but they came to the U.S. and both of them went different types of military. Yeah, well, at least you got the passport. That's a good, because 2 years ago it means it hasn't expired to you know. But you mean like you can? There's stuff in the U.S. that's pretty awesome, um, and that's not like I don't know how. I mean, I don't really know really if you got money for stuff. I guess if you're working, you do. But Bali, but oh, yes, I understand. That's a bummer. Like I was supposed to go to Turks and Caicos. That was supposed to be for my honeymoon, but he died before we could get married. So it is you're like, yeah, why go? Yeah, it kind of ruins the whole thing. But I've never been to Bali, but I know people who've been to Bali and they like it and they go back. So some places I go because um, it's money is not something that I have a lot of these days, and so I try to do trips that are like a little more nature oriented, and sometimes you can get hooked up with a group of people. Like I wanted to go at one point and see the dolphins swim. There's like a whole package. Like you go, but it's like other people. Oh, God. Yeah. So I, that's when I was growing up. That's why I know a lot about camping because my parents didn't have a lot either, but they would try to get us somewhere. And so there are campsites that are in Maryland that are, drivable for my parents, and it's less expensive, all that. You bring your own food and all these kind of things. And then once a year, we would try to go to New York City. And they, yeah, we would do they like specials, and you had to all cram into one tiny room. So we did vacations. They just weren't like, yeah, it was that kind of stuff. But because of, yes, military situation and my godparents who are deceased now lived in another country, and relatives that are no longer alive, we used to be able to go to these countries with, you know, a lot less money because there were people there we didn't have to pay. Silver Spring, yeah, Silver Spring is near University of Maryland College. I know where it is, and it's on the other side of the state from me, um, and it's close to DC. Yep. So it's a bit more urban than it is rural most of the time. I mean, some of that's changed, but um, I like Maryland for that one reason is there's opportunities for everyday hiking, biking, and there's a ton of state parks that some people stop going because they like to drink and when they camp, and the state parks are dry now. But to be honest, yeah, they're more enjoyable now that some drunkies aren't burning down things and causing havoc in the middle of the night. And I don't care whether I have alcohol or not, so it doesn't affect me. And Maryland is a state that does have, we have ocean on one side, and then there's like little hills and stream, and then there's this whole flat land. Like we got this whole cross section. Well, I'll be honest to tell you that to asking me if it's overrated, it depends on what your tastes are because it's like people like Maryland seafood a lot because of a spice called um, Old Bay, and so but there are like the crabbing when it's a good year. There's and certain other things like mussels and um, they're some of it's pretty good. Okay, but I can't say it's the best crab. I mean, I like snow crabs. You can't get snow crab here, but um, it's decent. I mean, it's better than a lot of other places. You know what I'm saying? Um, and when things are in season, yeah, Old Bay is a Maryland thing, and so a lot of people know around here where I live. Just put Old Bay on it. They don't know what else to put on it. Actually, that's the only thing. You don't put anything else in Maryland. You just put Old Bay on it. Shrimp, it doesn't matter. I will say people who eat, anyone who likes deviled eggs. Hang on just a sec. I got to answer my door. Hold on. No, I just bought a taxi. Yeah, I'm actually on the phone, but I'll come. Okay. I, my neighbor is very friendly, so I have to go over to my neighbor's now. Something come up. My battery. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. Football time. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll see you later. I'm a hockey fan, but I guess you know I'm a sports fan, so go whoever. But thanks for stopping in, and we'll have enjoy the game. And I'm gonna go for everybody else, but don't forget, if you see this, you can always leave comments, and I am always looking for stories that might seem to people as something that's like supernatural or bizarre. Yeah, the blues. That's right. Of course. Yeah, that's right. Um, yeah, I am a hockey fan. I like all ice hockey, but yep. See you later. Have a good day too. Anybody else? Conversation, music, wherever, you can put it in the comment section. You can contact me online, and I'm still collecting information, right? For just things that seem very, very unusual and anomalous, because technically the kind of research I do when it comes to that is called anomalous research. So there are some anomalous things going on, according to Earth. You see, so for some people, it might be anomalous according to what you know, but it's not anomalous according to greater depth and breadth of knowledge. So just be careful not to get too excited when you get pictures you think you got spirit stuff in there. Okay, and then also people be careful about just automatically saying that spirit stuff, because that scares the hell out of people. And they don't know what to do, and you are putting them in a kind of trauma that you don't know how to get them out of, and that's not a good idea. But take care of it, okay? Like, say what you're gonna say to people, but try to be decent. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody.